So for me, the mindset is not negotiating with myself, not compromising on what I want. And honestly, surrounding myself with people who will remind me of my goal.
Okay. This morning I'm in conversation with the beautiful Tsakane. Have I pronounced your name right?
Tsakane.
Tsakane.
Yes.
Okay. I'm in conversation with Tsakane this morning, and we are speaking all things goal setting and mindset matters. So Tsakane, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence.
Oh,
I've been trying to get you to sit down and have a conversation with me for such a long time.
Very true. Yes, I'm very happy that we finally did manage to do it.
Right. So maybe just introduce yourself, tell us how you got into goal setting, and we are specifically interested in the goal around health and wellness.
No problem. So, yes, my name is Tsakane. I'm a marketing professional, absolutely passionate about brands. Literally, I've been involved in marketing from day one, probably over 20 years experience within the marketing field. But part of that is also loving, keeping fit, having fitness as part of my lifestyle. And I think just growing up, always been surrounded by a family very much involved in fitness. Mom, dad, always Saturday morning would be out going to the gym, involved in 702 walks, etc. During the week, even waking up at 4:30, getting ready to have a 45-minute training session before they go to work. So it's always been something I've seen. They've always been an example. So it's no surprise, I think, that I've also adopted that into my lifestyle, as well as my two older brothers. There's the one who's an ardent cyclist, and then there is a second brother who's very much involved in health and fitness.
Okay.
So he started off as a personal trainer, launched Zumba in South Africa, which has been awesome. And literally his love and passion for health and fitness has resulted in him being part of the Virgin Active team now.
Okay.
So bringing exciting programs to their clientele.
Okay.
So for me, in terms of, like I said, played sports, netball, basketball, athletics, and I'd say it's probably in the last 10 years where I've taken sports or my fitness more seriously.
Okay.
And more recently, the last 2 to 3 years, where I've always loved watching these beautiful bodybuilders compete.
Okay.
Like seeing them on stage, these beautiful women, lean, confident, and just loving presenting themselves, presenting their work. And for me, it was like so tasteful. It was nothing sexual or anything like that. It was like, you know what? I've worked hard for the last 12 weeks, and this is how the result.
Okay. So let's before we get into the bodybuilding part.
Yes.
What drove you, or what made you decide? Because whenever we set a particular goal, it's as a result of something. And so, for example, if you set the goal for financial freedom, you're saying it's because I'm seriously in debt. So something has happened and has now kind of forced you to take stock of where you are, and kind of bring a shift. So we have these various goals: financial goals, relationship goals, health goals. What pushed you into the direction of bodybuilding?
Okay. So I've always been very conscious of my body in terms of what I look like. I modeled when I was younger, and I guess also growing up, my mom always taught us, guys, take care of yourself. In terms of taking care of yourself, it wasn't be skinny or anything like that, but just have pride in what you look like. And I think for me, playing sports, literally very competitive, netball, basketball, etc. There's a fitness level that you absolutely need to have, and in order to be able to endure high intensity running or training before a game, you just have to be at a certain weight or have certain muscle definition or etc. like that. So for me, it's always been around being conscious. And I think probably when I turned 30, and I also got my nieces, because I've got a niece who's 20 years younger than me, and then one she's probably 18 years. I say to myself, honestly, literally, when I turn 35, or when I'm in my 40s, I'm not going to look like a tanny. I refuse. I was like, I'm absolutely not going to look like a tanny. So it's something that's always been my intention in terms of looking a certain way. And probably what pushed me in terms of bodybuilding was I always like to have something I aim for, wish to achieve. So having that goal to look a certain way, be on stage was motivation enough. So like I said, exercising has always been part of what I do. It's my lifestyle. It's like breathing to me. So people who have to fit training into their life, no. For me, everything else fits literally around my training. So the idea of not being fit and looking the way I want to look at the age of 40 was motivation enough.
Were you ever in a state mentally where you felt, okay, now I'm just not looking the way I want to look, and for that reason I've got to do something that takes me beyond the normal exercise? And so would that have been the reason as to why you kind of said, because bodybuilding is kind of I mean, it's difficult, it's hard, it's such a disciplined sport, if I can call it that.
Absolutely.
So it's not just running and exercising and keeping fit and eating healthy. It's, for me, based on what I've seen, and it's really from an uninformed place, because I have never got into bodybuilding, but it's such a difficult sport. The reason why I'm saying that, while I did not participate as a bodybuilder or get into that, I did have a friend many years ago who was into bodybuilding, and I remember being with her at the gym once, and she was preparing for a competition, and that day all she was allowed to eat was a piece of fish that big and a glass of water. And she was literally dividing that meal, the fish and the water, between breakfast, lunch and supper. So I understand that, yes, you health and wellness was always a big thing, because it was instilled in you by your parents and your mom. But why bodybuilding?
Because it's about seeing what else I can do with my body. And I think for me, it was having seen what the ladies were already achieving, those on stage, was like, no man. And local South African ladies, I was like, if they can do that and transform their body, surely I can. And I know it's not going to be easy, but surely. So for me, it was like, no man, I want to try that. And I guess it's like pushing myself to, it's not to the extreme, it's about what else can I achieve. And I think we do this in every area of our life. So with the health and being conscious of your health and being incorporating fitness, exercise as part of your lifestyle, they're varying degrees. You can literally just do it just so that you can tick a box, or you can decide that, you know what, 3 times a week I'm going in focused 1 hour and I'm going to hit it hard, or I'll do 6 times a week but I won't go as hard, half an hour. Or you train for purpose. So for me, it was about training for purpose. Your friend, the way she was eating, it was probably peak week. So during our training and the whole 12 weeks, you go through variations in terms of what you will eat. And towards the end, it is horrible. Like peak week, we are absolutely horrible, horrible people. You don't actually want to be around us because we have to get to a specific leanness, and there's only one way you can. So for me, it was around, why would you want to put yourself through that, Tsakane? Was a question most people ask me is, why not? And it's a discipline and a mental grit that I now apply, not just from a fitness perspective, but in my work environment as well as in my personal well-being, as to some things I'm going to do and they will suck. It's not going to be easy. I'm going to hate it. I mean, it happened this past week, where it was Wednesday. I was tired, absolutely exhausted, but I needed to get my training in. And I was like, I really don't feel like it. I don't feel like putting in like half an hour. I've got deadlines to meet at work. I have to take care of home. It's like, yeah, but you made a commitment to participate in a specific competition. Life still happens. And I think just to also backtrack in terms of, it wasn't an easy start for me going into bodybuilding automatically. I think it was in 2019 or 2020, I had made a commitment to actually participate in a competition, and literally probably 2 weeks before the competition, a lot of stuff was happening at work, deadlines, presentations, everything. I was still continuing with my personal trainer, my coach, my program, eating plan on point. But I was like, no, I just can't do this. It's just too much. 2 weeks before, we had a business trip to go through to Natal, and I used that as an excuse not to get on stage. I regretted it. And why that was my biggest regret and the biggest lesson, I'm glad I went through it, was that instead of finding a way around everything I was going through to actually make an effort to still be on stage, I used that as a reason not to get on stage, so that I wouldn't feel guilty about not seeing everything through. And often, I mean, sometimes that's one of my pet peeves about myself, is that sometimes I don't follow through with stuff. So for me, this bodybuilding has taught me, particularly the last 2 years, in terms of the satisfaction you get from actually following through. It is like the best. And the fact that life happens. Life is not going to stop and allow you to have a beautiful environment, beautiful situations to enable you to have your training, your eating, everything right. It's going to suck at times, but you just do it.
So you're leaving us with such beautiful pearls. So the first pearl that I'm picking up, or the lesson that I'm taking away from this conversation, is that in order for us to achieve a goal, we must be careful that we do not talk ourselves out of a particular goal and make excuses. The second one that I'm picking up is that it's not always easy.
No.
Sometimes it's going to be extremely difficult, but you've got to push through.
All the time it will be extremely difficult, but you will still need to push through. And the first point around, we must be careful not to talk ourselves through. One thing I actually realized is that it will happen. You can plan not to talk negatively, that you're going to see everything through, rah, 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 be positive. There will be a day where you actually say, enough, this sucks, I don't want to do it. And when that happens, it's okay. Recognize it. For me, it's about actually recognizing when I'm in that negative space and I don't want to do something. It's like, okay, cool, don't do it. That's fine. You don't have to train. You don't have to wake up at 4:30, get yourself ready and be on that treadmill. You don't have to be there to pick up the weight. No. Okay. But understand the consequences.
of not doing
of
that.
not doing. You miss one day of training, you've missed one day of getting your body into the condition it needs to be for that stage. You have more than one cheap meal in a week. That's fine. You can. No one's going to stop you.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's like, it's not a punishment.
Yeah.
There isn't anyone at the end of the day that's going to say, you did this, you were naughty. No.
Yeah.
Just reality is you can have that, but realize that you've now taken 5 steps back.
Yeah.
You cannot outtrain a bad diet.
Yes.
Cannot. Literally, you've taken 5 steps back. So I think in those moments of negativity, recognize them and have a conversation with yourself. Is it worth the risk? Is it worth not seeing the changes you know you can possibly achieve if you just stick to this? Is it worth that slice of cake worth that taking away that feeling of gratitude, of satisfaction that you know what, you were able to see something through? So negativity, it will happen. And I think for me, that was a big learning. And I'll share a story. That last year I participated in the Arnold's South Africa, which was absolutely amazing, absolutely phenomenal. And 8 weeks later, I was supposed to participate in regionals competitions for IFBB. And I told myself, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be ready. 2 weeks after the Arnold's, I was like, called my coach, Michelle, I can't do this. She's like, why? I'm like, I can't. And it was a learning for me is that I wasn't mentally prepared for what it would take to actually be consistently in shape for 12 weeks. So 12 weeks even after a competition. So literally Arnold's, you've got, I was probably going to get 2-3 days break in terms of eating more calories and then go back into maintenance and then get back into peak conditioning and training. And I wasn't mentally prepared for that. I thought it would be easy.
But why do you say that you struggled mentally? Because I mean, you prepared for the Arnold competition, and so one would think that you already had that. You were already in that mindset, in that frame of mind, just to continue.
You would, and that's the thing is that I didn't anticipate having or experiencing that negative spell. I didn't. And I didn't plan for it. So I didn't have that conversation with myself to say, okay, fine. In that moment where I don't feel like doing it, how will I handle it? I didn't have a conversation with my coach to say, how do I actually push through this point where I just want to give up? I thought, no, I can handle it. Exactly what you're saying. I did the Arnold's. And I didn't realize it and didn't appreciate it whenever I heard all your top CEOs, marketing professionals, or even your celebrities, why they've got coaches for different things. It's necessary because each coach gives you something different.
That's true.
Very, very different. So personal trainers, I mean, I think I'm really, really blessed because she also competes. So she knows the process and the frustrations and the mood swings that one goes through. And we are able to have a conversation around, okay, have a check-in, tell me how you're feeling. Make sure you not just sending me pictures, but you're telling me what you are going through at that moment in time, because then you need to address it. Because once it's on the table, you recognize it, you acknowledge it, you're like, okay, I can do this. So it was a big learning for me, and it's getting me through this competition that I'm participating in this year around maintaining a certain look for fitness up until our big event, which is happening in August.
Let's pause there for a minute. I wanna take a step back.
Cool.
So we covered that you got to a place where you felt that your normal exercise and training is not getting you to look the way you want to look.
Yes.
And then you decided, okay, well, I'm going to extend myself. I'm going to extend myself to bodybuilding.
Yes.
Okay. So at that particular point in time, just take us through your journey very, very quickly. What you've decided that I'm going to do bodybuilding, but what was your goals and where did you end up with regard to the goals? So almost like year 1, year 2.
Okay. So probably about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, the day I decided to commit and have a personal trainer was where things changed. Because personal trainers are not cheap. And they give you a program so that you stick with it.
Right.
So, and I've had like different personal trainers for different fitness levels I was looking to achieve. So I've had my brother look at us as a personal trainer, and there we focused on endurance training, cross-functional training, etc. So it didn't start off as training to get on stage as a bodybuilder. So it was a progression. So that was year 1. And I mean, there I was also like erratic in terms of showing up on time, making it to my sessions. There was always an excuse. And I think I struggled with this for about 2 years with the different personal trainers.
Right.
And then I got surprised as to why I was not achieving my goals. It was like, yeah, but you're not sticking to the program. You're not actually truly committed to being at your session on time. And your eating is not correct. So you're not going to realize those goals. And then started speaking to probably year 3. My body was changing, yes. I was happy, but I was like, what's next? What else can I do? And I think year 3, I trained with trainer Sarah, and she was competing. And I was like, okay, Sarah, how do we get Tsakane on stage? She was like, are you sure? Why do you want to be on stage? No, it just looks like so much fun. The girls are so gorgeous, their bodies. She's like, yeah. Are you committed? And that is always like, are you committed? And I think the commitment is not about sticking to the program from an eating and a physical exercise, but are you committed mentally? And I didn't get that. There's a mental, when people talk about mental fitness, I think we may throw those 2 words around, but it's tangible, because when you are mentally fit to pursue anything, to pursue your studies, to pursue specific career ambitions, fitness goals, etc., or family goals, you don't compromise and you don't negotiate with yourself. And this is also what I share with my friends and colleagues who will say, oh, but Tsakane, you're so different, disciplined, you never miss a session. I'm like, guys, I just don't negotiate with myself. There are just certain things I've learned because I've messed up before. I don't negotiate. And when you are just so clear about your end goal, everything just falls into place.
Nothing deters you.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because you're already mentally prepared for those negative self-talks that you'll have. You're already prepared. There's nothing as hard. During Arnold's, the last 4 weeks, I'm on fish and vegetables. My colleagues around me, Fridays, are ordering bunny chow.
And pizza.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And there I am taking out my meal prep, my veggies, my fish, and they're saying, TK, you want some? Can you smell it? I'm like, you know what, guys? Love you. Not. And I walk away.
So let's just pause there. So I met you in 2009, right? And we were on a media training course together.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the program coordinator would arrange for muffins and biscuits, cookies, some people would say, for tea time, and sandwiches for lunch. And I think what kind of drew me to you, because there was about 20 odd people in the class, what drew me to you was well, first of all, your physique. I mean, I used to like, oh, those arms, used to wear jeans and t-shirts.
Yeah.
And so what drew me to you in terms of introducing myself to you and speaking to you was first of all your physique. But as I spent time with you during tea breaks and lunch breaks, I marveled at your discipline. So we were eating muffins and cookies at tea break and sandwiches for lunch, and Tsakane would come with this lunch bag,
A pink bag
of all the food that she was supposed to eat. So speak to us about that, and specifically around discipline.
Okay. So first of all, when it comes to eating and associating the word discipline, I always find that I view it as a swear word. And because it comes to me, for me, it feels so restrictive. So I don't even make reference to discipline, but rather I'm eating for purpose. Literally, I'm eating for purpose because I know I want to be on stage. At that time, I was prepping. So it wasn't time for me to have my cheat meal. So for me, preparing my meals on Sundays, like 2 hours, I'll do meal prep. Whatever I don't eat in the first 2 days, I will literally freeze. And just makes my life easy during the week. So it's never a schlep. It's always making sure that I've got the meals that I need. Otherwise, I will slip up.
I love that. I love that. I've never ever thought about that. The statement, eating for purpose. You know, to be honest with you, the reason why we eat is for sustenance and for energy. And we have forgotten that. And so it's such a nice reminder that eating shouldn't be a problem for any individual if their mindset is eating for purpose.
Yeah. And you can eat for enjoyment. Like I said, I've got a cheat meal. Literally, my program is like one cheat meal a week. And it's like, ooh, what am I going to have? I love carrot cake.
Okay.
Absolutely love carrot cake as well as red velvet.
Okay.
And I will have my slice.
Right.
I will absolutely have it. And I mean, eating for enjoyment. And when I need to change gears and eat now for purpose in order to achieve conditioning, to get on stage, that's what I do.
So when I was viewing your circumstance at that particular point in time, I was looking at you and saying you are super disciplined. But mentally, in terms of your mindset, you were saying, I'm not disciplined. I'm eating for purpose.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 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 Okay, so the last part that I want to cover with you is around mindset.
Yes.
So just talk us through your mindset and just how important it is to adopt a particular mindset for the particular goal that you want to achieve, and just make sure that every day, and I want to go back to the comment that you made, because around completing the Arnold competition, 8 weeks later you've got another competition, and in that period between those two, your mind just went lost, you know.
Yeah.
So I want you to speak to us around mindset, but specifically setting your goal and making sure that you focus on that on a particular mindset daily in order for you to achieve that goal.
100%. And you emphasized daily twice in setting this question up, and it's true. It's daily decisions that you make towards that bigger goal. So I wish there was a formula. You know, honestly, I wish one had like a module that said mindset is X plus Y, and it would be as easy as 1, 2, 3. But it's not. And I think for me, the mindset, it boils down to the choice. the choice that you make to fulfill a particular desire, particular dream, or not to. And the worst feeling is knowing that you had the choice and you didn't take the one that would have seen you achieving your goal. That sucks. That sucks. And maybe it's something a person needs to go through so that the next time a situation, you face a situation very similar where you aren't in the right mindset, you're not making the right choices, you remember what you felt like the last time that happened. And I think that negative experience for me last year, whoa, it was horrible. And I remember I said this to Michelle, my coach. I said, Mish, and I probably said it to her in September. I said, Mish, I actually regretted not doing the regionals. She said, I know, I knew you would. She's like, but you had to go through that. I can't convince you that this is the right thing for you. You need to believe and want it. Because when you believe and you want it, there is nothing that will stop you. There is no party, there is no meeting deadline that will stop you from achieving your goal. The meetings and the deadlines are going to be there. What you'll end up doing is unfortunately compromising on a little bit of sleep, which you shouldn't when you're like in the midst of hectic training. But it's to say, I still have responsibilities and commitment in my work environment. But that is not going to take away from my personal achievements I wish to attain. So for me, the mindset is not negotiating with myself, not compromising on what I want. And honestly, surrounding myself with people who will remind me of my goal. I've got a partner, he's great. He's also like a gym fundi, loves it. And yeah, sometimes he can be a little bit extreme. It's like, Tsakane, yeah, we can quit, but why? Like, he's that kind of person, very frank, will remind me why I actually wanted to achieve a particular goal. And the best thing, if I can wrap up with this, is monitoring your progress. So we have weekly check-ins with my coach, and there's the beauty in weekly check-ins, because when you start seeing that progress, it's like, oh my gosh, an accomplishment. And then I'll say this to my friends because we're all in corporate, great positions, and they're like, but TK, you're achieving so much, you're disciplined. I'm like, guys, stop it. I'm like, guys, think about this. We set goals, we've got KPIs for the brands that we work on, for the marketing objectives, for financial objectives, deliverables. If you can do that for a business, for a brand, why can you not do that for yourself? Exactly the same.
I feel the same way.
Principles that we bring into a corporate working environment. You can do that for yourself. And that's why for me, I'm quite blunt with them. It's to say, guys, don't tell me you can't. Say you don't want to. When you say you don't want to, then okay, then at least you're owning your part. Because if you can do that for a brand that's not even yours, why can't you do it for yourself? It's key.
So there's a few things that I've taken away. I've taken away absolute desire to change, and in your case, to change your body. I've taken away setting a goal and sticking to it until you achieve the goal. You've been on stage a good few times.
Yes.
So setting a goal and sticking with it until you achieve it.
Yeah.
I've heard purpose, eating for purpose. So you then looked at what it is that you need to do. And instead of saying, I'm going to be a disciplined eater, you said, I'm going to eat for purpose. And the purpose was for you to reshape your body in order to get on stage.
Yeah.
And then the fourth thing that I've taken away is mindset. You've got to cultivate a mindset that will carry you to the finish line.
Yeah.
Those are the 4
100%.
things that I've taken away.
100%. Yeah, and you don't have to do it on your own. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just in closing, the last question that I have for you is, what question have I not asked?
Question is, Tsakane, have you ever cheated in peak week or very close to a competition? And how did you handle that situation?
Okay, so give us that answer.
I have. I have, and it was freaking peak week. So you must know that it is, everyone knows this, you do not cheat. You stick to the plan.
And so in your case, was it also like my friend, a piece of fish and water in the last week?
Yeah, not piece of fish. So no, I'm sure she was just, I don't think, there's no way she would just survive on just a piece of fish. I think she was just so heartful that it felt it was just that one fish and that water. Because literally you would faint.
Yes.
So it was probably just 50, 60 grams of fish and a portion of veggies, and she was eating that 6 times a day, which is not many calories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So peak week, literally, it's all about
So
losing
it wasn't
water.
once a day; it was 6 times a day.
Yeah, yeah. Or depending on the size of your portions, so it could be 5 to 6 times a day. But because there's little fat and fish anyway, and then your veggies, it literally feels like it's just once a day.
Right.
So yes, I did, and it was for Arnold's.
Okay.
And why, you asked? Did you cheat? Because I was heartful. I was heartful. My trainer, my personal trainer, she does not mince her words. She's like, you want to be on stage, so I'm not going to give you yummy stuff to eat. And I was like heartful. I was like, okay, I just want something sweet. I just want, and I was like, as if I was doing her a favor or myself a favor. I had this conversation, like, you know what? Surely I've been eating so well, doing so well. I deserve just a teaspoon of peanut butter. So I did.
Is that the cheat? A teaspoon of peanut butter. Oh my gosh. I thought the cheat was a piece of carrot cake.
No. I couldn't wait until the Friday to have peanut butter, because then that's when we start building up again, refeeding. The Tuesday in my peak week, I had a spoon, not a tiny, a spoon of peanut butter. But the thing is, guys, there's science in bodybuilding. And when you cheat when you're not supposed to cheat, it shows immediately. Because you've been going through a deficit. So now your body is getting these calories and it's very excited. So it will absorb. And it's a good thing when it happens at the right time. So that peanut butter and oats that I was supposed to only eat on Friday was necessary, because now I'm starting to build up and
so you had peanut butter and oats?
No.
Oh, just
the peanut butter.
Okay.
But it did damage.
Okay.
A little bit of damage. And my trainer, probably it was a week later, I said to her, I confessed. I said, I cheated. She says, I knew. She says, I knew it.
But where did it show? I mean, like,
she
how
knows.
does it show?
So she knows. So there is a fullness that you need to achieve, but without, what do we call it? Spilling over.
Okay.
Yeah.
And peanut butter did that.
Yeah.
So for me, one spoon of peanut butter.
So for me, the one thing I've realized is that with peanut butter, and our bodies digest different types of food very differently. So for me, like, I can have peanut butter now, and tomorrow, literally, I'll be bloated. I don't know why. So I don't keep peanut butter in my diet anymore. I love it, but it just doesn't work for me. So she said, no, I knew that you did. I was like, but you didn't say anything. She's like, no, I didn't have to. I knew eventually
it will come out.
It will come out. So for me, I'm like, you can cheat. I'm not sitting here all, oh, the mighty one. I've got this figured. I don't cheat. I stick to the plan. There are consequences. And maybe I could have taken the master's first position versus master's second.
Okay.
You know, there's always, you never know.
Okay. And that's what I love about speaking to individuals that are very, very focused in terms of goal setting. What I pick up all the time is that there will be times where you fall off the wagon. You know, it's the ability to get up.
Yeah.
And so I want to end the session with this particular quote by I think it was by Sir Winston Churchill. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. And I think that's what I want to leave the session with. You know, and you've left us with so many different lessons and pearls that we can take away from. Goal setting. I don't want to say discipline. I started the conversation with discipline, but we said eating for purpose. So purpose, a purpose-driven reason that will help you to stay the course, and then mindset. Mindset does matter. So it's important that we understand that and remember that and find a way every day to make sure that our mind is right for the goals that we have set for ourselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
I mean, I think the big lesson for me here was eating for purpose. And so that is my big takeaway. My big takeaway in terms of my health and wellness journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you.